By looking at the title, I'm sure that all of you get that today we're going to be talking about arguing. It definitely won the video of the day. And I was surprised that so many people said arguing. Like, do y'all not know how to communicate? I'm going to tell you why you should absolutely never argue. You don't have to argue. And just a couple of steps on how to communicate more effectively instead of arguing. So I'm going to get right to it. So people don't really, just wake up and say, you know what? I'd like to argue today. At least not healthy people. And if you're with someone who likes to argue just to argue, then you might want to reconsider that relationship. But normally arguments start out like this. Somebody has an issue. This is my rock right here. It represents your problem. And you bring that problem to your partner. So let's say you and your partner sit down at a table and you say, I have this issue right now with this relationship and with you. And what tends to happen is that other person gets defensive. Who, me? You're blaming this on me? And that person's defensiveness becomes another rock, because they're defending themselves. And so this is the first thing I want you guys to think about when it comes to avoiding arguments. Don't be so quick to defend yourself. Listen to what the other person is saying and own whatever you're responsible for. Somebody has to take ownership of the problem that's going on at that point. If you don't take ownership, and if this person doesn't take ownership, now instead of one problem, you have two problems. So when that person defends themselves instead of listening and owning their part of whatever the problem is, now you have three problems, right? Because now it's back on you to defend your position. So now instead of just having this one problem, you have these three problems. So your conversation has gone to an argument. And this is what the beginning of an argument really looks like. Brought one problem, ended up with two more. And unfortunately, that's only the beginning. Because what happens next is you become more aggressive. And aggression always meets aggression. So now it's back on the other person because they feel defensive. You're coming at them with this. And now that person's getting heated. And they bring in something to really hit you with. You see, the difference between arguing and just having a conversation is when you're having a conversation with someone or you're debating someone, you're out to get rid of the one problem. When you begin to have an argument, purpose is to knock the other person out. So here's one of the things that you got to be careful of when you're having these arguments or whatever you call them. When you know someone long enough, you know the things that hurt that person. You know the things that will knock that person out. That person knows the things that will hurt you or knock you out, and those tend to be the things that we reach for when we get into an argument. So that person may come for your past. That person may come for an insecurity. Whatever it is to throw at you to knock you out of the argument. And as the argument goes along, more rocks come in, right? More things to dig at that person about. You reach into your bag of goodies, the things that you know will really hurt that person, and your conversation starts to look more and more like this, where things are being thrown at each other. And you have to be very careful with this because, yes, you may get past this argument. Your relationship may survive it, but the scars that these things leave never go away. They stay there forever. But to move on here, arguments don't stop. Somebody has to win. That's the difference between a conversation or a conflict resolution and an argument. When it's conflict resolution, you're only trying to solve that one problem. Remember, you're only trying to solve that one problem. Once you get to the point of arguing, you both already lose. Because think about it. When you lose an argument, how do you feel? You never feel good about losing an argument. So yes, when you win that argument, you may momentarily feel that gratification, but your relationship has suffered because the person who lost suffered. So now you have this going on, right? You're arguing, you're going back and forth, you're slinging things that hurt each other emotionally, maybe even physically. Why? I'm telling you that you really should never argue. Not only because there's a better way to communicate, because eventually somebody throws this. They throw something so big, so hurtful, so penetrating. Because remember, the name of the game when it comes to arguing is to knock the other person out. That's what it always is. That's why when you're arguing, you're saying hurtful things, you're doing hurtful things, because the point is to win. And in order to win, you have to knock the other person out. Even if your relationship survives the argument, that person will never forget that you threw this at them, and they will not trust you again. They will always protect themselves from you because they know that if the situation gets there, if it gets hot enough, that you will throw this at them. And this is their deepest, darkest, just the thing that you know will hurt them more than anything. When we argue, we don't throw things that are pointless. We throw to hurt. And when you throw something like this, not only could you destroy your whole relationship, but you know what? You run the risk of destroying that person as well. Have to be very careful. I asked this question, why would you want to hurt someone who you care about? Learn how to communicate in a healthy way. You can do it. It's possible. And so the last thing that I want to tell you as far as communicating better, make sure that you're careful about what you're talking about doesn't branch off into other things. Remain focused, but don't do it in a controlling way. Don't just tell someone to get back over here to what the main focus is. Ask, we're getting off topic. Do you mind if we come back and we talk about this? Because this is the real issue. Make it a two-way thing. Never a control thing, never a hurtful thing. Just deal with the problem. And that is the way that you effectively communicate without arguing. So again, I will never ever recommend arguing. There's better ways to communicate. Well, unless it's like pre-sex arguing, then, you know, hey. Remember, next week we're going to talk about lying. And I'm going to tell you why people lie and what you can do about it so that lying does not have to exist in your relationship. You'll be surprised to find out what exactly that is. Also, the winner of the Perfect Girlfriend t-shirt that I promised to give away is Tazjahjade, Tazsjahjade on Instagram. Hit me up. You just won. I'm gonna send you a free Perfect Girlfriend t-shirt. Alright, let me stop being extra. But yeah, I'm gonna send you a Perfect Girlfriend t-shirt. Just hit me up with your email address and I will send one right over. And your size too. Make sure you send your size. Alright. Everybody else, I'm gonna give away another one. I'm going to give away another t-shirt. So just calm down. Guys and girls, all you gotta do is follow me on Instagram and tag any picture with Perfect Girlfriend or Perfect Boyfriend and you will be entered for a chance to win. Somebody just unfollowed me on Instagram. I told y'all I take this stuff personal, man. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and you can find all my books and t-shirts at dreamforward.com. I hope this video helps you, everybody. You do not have to argue. Just communicate. Alright? Until next time, Hotel. You believe that you can do absolutely anything? Yeah. Do you believe that you can do absolutely anything? Yeah. If you put your mind to it, if you put your heart to it, if you decide to give yourself the very best, you can do that. Will you do that? Yeah.